What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Dollar Podcast. This is episode 14? 15, episode 15. We just spent 5 minutes, I forgot that fast, whatever. Anyway, a lot of episodes daily, 8 a.m. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and share with friends because we're really going into the deep dives of real estate. If you don't know,
Good job.
If you don't know me yet, I'm Art Morrison III.
I'm Kate McCready.
And let's dive right into it. All right, today we're talking about the market, which is like everybody's concern. Let's talk about where we are in the market now and what it's going to look like in the next year or two. The question of the day is the market going to drop? We already did an episode about it crashing, but today we're talking about just are prices going to drop in 2023? And if not, when do you see that they'll drop? That's the question.
Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Yes, they're already dropping.
Yeah, they're dropping right now as we speak.
Yeah.
And why are they dropping?
I don't know, more inventory, higher interest rates.
Yeah, interest rates are really like the big culprit, right?
Yep.
The Fed is doing what they want. They want to stop inflation. The biggest, all right, let's go back. Let's do a history lesson. So the biggest reason that inflation occurred in the way that it did in the beginning of 2022 and all of 2021 was because once the pandemic hit and the economy was stimulated on purpose by the government, people were spending. They were spending a lot of money on just consumer stuff. At the same time, property values were skyrocketing because there was not a lot of inventory and interest rates were extremely low, okay, at the time. So now everybody's like, all right, forget buying TVs and furniture, we're gonna buy these houses. So a lot of people buy houses in 2020, 2021. Why is that funny?
Just to compare buying houses to TVs and furniture is just funny.
It's funny, but it's really not that different.
Oh, instead of getting this 70-inch TV, let me buy this $700,000 house.
Yeah, the way the economy was stimulated, yeah, right? I mean, 3.5%. We live on the East Coast, so I know you're thinking like if you do an FHA loan, 3.5% down on like our cheapest house, what, 300? Probably 350 now after the last 2 years. But let's say 300. 3.5% of 300 is, what's 3,500 times 3? That's 7,000. That's $10,500. So you're looking at like, bro, $1,000 TV versus $10,500. Not the case. We live in the second most, other than Cali, expensive market in America. Majority of America, their first time house is gonna be like one something. So it's really not that far off, $1,000 Samsung TV versus 3.5% down on a $110,000 house, which is like $3,500, $400, or $3,500 or $4,000 down payment to buy a house. But here's what happened. As the country began to do that, go from TVs and all that and see that their pockets are stimulated and now go investing into real estate, what happened next?
What happened?
There was more buyers than sellers, which then made the market inflate. So now I put my little $4,000 down, I bought my house at $110,000, and 7 months later, since everybody else had the same idea, that $110,000 house is now worth $180,000. Now I'm $70,000 richer in equity.
Yeah, some people really made off.
Some people really, I mean, I know people who equity has gone up $100,000, $150,000. So
I know
now,
people whose equity went up like $300,000.
yeah, like equity.
Insane.
Whose people? Say their name.
Nope. But I begged them to sell their house.
Yeah. So this happened, but at scale across the country.
Yeah.
So now you have all of these people whose net worth exploded. So what do they do with that new net worth? Snowball. They spend more. Now they're buying cars. Now they're doing all of these things, and they're doing it at a faster pace than the market can really keep up, and it causes crazy inflation. So what does Uncle Sam say? Okay, well, we're gonna put interest rates higher so that people buy less. So now if you buy a house for that same $110,000, your payment might have been 2 years ago, might have only been $800 something. Now it's $2,000, right? $1,500. So of course it's gonna deter you from buying a house. $800 a month versus $1,500 a month is a huge difference if you're budgeting, you have a 9 to 5, whatever. So less people are buying. When less people are buying, that's less supply and demand. Now property values are dropping, which we are experiencing right now. To get back on topic, the Fed upping interest rates is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's slowing down people buying houses, which is now dropping the value of the house. When something is less in demand, it becomes less valuable. And that's what's happening in real estate. It's happening at a slow pace, and if you provide a really good project, like we do, right? Not project, product, like we do, right? You can still tap into like this heightened market. Like we're still flipping houses right now and selling at the same deal evaluation that we, actually, when we bought, right, East Orange, for example, we have a property in New Jersey that we bought for $140,000. We plan to sell it for $250,000. Right now it's under contract. We just got an offer for $300,000.
Yeah.
Right, so we're still experiencing that inflation that I just broke down the history lesson of. But we are seeing a steady decline. It really depends on where you're at, right? So when you look at those really wealthy houses, those $1 million houses, dropping because there's less millionaires.
Oh, yeah.
Right, less crypto millionaires, less, like the economy's different. But
sorry.
No,
I was just showed houses or condos like 2 days ago. This guy owned the place for maybe 4 months or so. He originally bought it for 1.5. He's now trying to sell it for 1.385. So he's taken a little bit of a hit, but
especially if he wants to sell that quick. Now, if he were to wait 5-10 years, he probably would, sell it for more, because you guys know how the market goes. But real estate historically always goes up.
Yeah.
But that market,
that was just a couple of months
there's less
difference.
demand for that market.
Yeah.
But that first-time home buyer between 150 and 350,000 is still hot right now. But to answer the question, in 2023, 24, we definitely will see people slowing down purchasing like that.
It starts with homes sitting on the market for longer, and then they'll start to drop, and then the listing price starts to decline, like when they are originally put on the market.
It's also a fear factor, because when we first put East Orange on the market, it didn't get offers like that. We're like, oh shoot, here we go.
Yeah.
We took it off the market, decided to keep it. Then we said, nah, let's put it back on the market. And we put it back on the market because we finished some small items inside.
Yeah.
And we got, what was it, 4 or 5 offers in 1 weekend.
Yeah, yep.
That's because.
And a ton of showings,
And a ton of showings, 10 showings in 2-3 days, right? Which isn't like crazy. If you're listening, you're probably like, I've seen more, but like in this market, it's pretty impressive, and where the house is located and blah, blah.
Yeah.
My point though is that when we first listed it, there was that initial fear of interest rates going up.
Yeah.
The second time we listed it, they had raised interest rates for the third time.
Yeah.
So now people are like, oh, they hiked interest rates and like the market didn't crash, no one died. People aren't leaping from their balconies because the Great Depression is here.
It's like
it's
Chicken
safe to
Little,
buy.
like
It's
the
literally
sky
like
is
Chicken
falling.
Little, sky is falling, like all that. So with that being said, it's a slow process, but I do think 2023 will see a decline down to where we were in 2018, 2017.
Yeah.
And then I do think summer of 2024, it'll level out to probably where it was like at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
Where like right before it really got crazy, but it was still like, oh man, property values are rising.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people always need somewhere to live. And I think 2024, it'll level out, but it'll also really put a magnifying glass on those hot markets that were, this is a whole nother factor. We can go in this episode for an hour. But these hot markets that were magnified during the pandemic, but more so after the pandemic, where they said, you can't travel. Okay, now you guys can travel. You're good, just wear a mask. And what did people do after sitting in their house for a year? Try to find all the gems. We couldn't leave the country.
Yeah.
So what got emphasized? Places like Asheville, Nashville, Salt Lake City.
People realized that their location sucked, and they moved from those locations to these locations where we're at now.
Yeah.
So places like the Northeast, I mean, I'm not talking shit about the
No,
Northeast,
like,
but
suburban New
from the
Jersey,
Northeast to
being
Florida.
quarantined in suburban New Jersey is way different than being quarantined in Jupiter, Florida. It's a whole different, right?
For so many reasons.
You realize like, this ain't it.
And people are moving to the states that are a little more conservative.
Not to mention remote work. This could go on for days. Remote work.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people are working remote, and they're like, okay, I don't have to live 10 minutes from my job in this crappy little town.
Yeah.
I can work remote. Okay, I'm gonna go live wherever I want. And now you can literally close your eyes, point on the map where you want to work, and move there. And obviously people are picking the better places to live, which are like hidden gems. We watched Austin, Texas just explode. We're watching St. Petersburg and Tampa explode right in front of us. You guys can see it behind us if you're watching, maybe not, I'm not sure if the camera's catching it, but there's a lot of cranes up, building new high rises. There's just certain hot spots in America, and all that is due to all the factors that we just said. So it'll level out, it'll magnify these hot spots, and as always, there'll always be opportunity in real estate.
Yep.
With that being said, that's episode 15 of the Daily Dollar Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Art Morrison III.
At HI Cait McCready.
How you spell Kate? I'm gonna give you a hard time every episode.
Just go in the show notes.
Yeah, show notes. Follow Kate. Follow our business, United Home Relief, which is the sponsor of this podcast, at United Home Relief on Instagram, to see what we do, our projects, everything you need to know about our business and what we're talking about on this podcast. You can see on our Instagram page and our website, www.unitedhomerelief.com. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this podcast. We got YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, literally every platform you can imagine. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, but heavy on the share. Share this with somebody that needs to know this information, especially if they're trying to get into real estate. All right, catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.